Interview with Dr. Parthasarathy Ganguly, Chief Mentor of SaraswatiOnline.com India Limited on July 11, 2020. Dr. Ganguly, the MCI and the National Board of Examinations have suddenly declared that MBBS students with provisional pass certificates from foreign schools of medicine would not be allowed to write the FMCGE test on August 31 this year. Doesn't the move terribly shortchange the students and inconvenience them all ends up?
Yes, Varid, you are right. It does put the students into great inconvenience. But I think the MCI has already understood that, and they have already, made amendments that the students will be allowed to write the examination as in the past. But what they have still not cleared is that they have said the student will be required to get the final degree before their results are declared. Now that will definitely put into inconvenience for many of the students, because when the students took admission to these medical courses, they had a plan based on the rules and regulations that has been offered to them, or the conditions guiding their study program. One of the major features of that program is that after completing their classroom academics, they are required to do 1 year of internship. That's a part and parcel of the program. A doctor is required to go for a rotary internship of 52 weeks. This is a standard practice all across the globe, of course with different kind of nomenclature and different kind of purpose, but by and large internship is an essential part of a MBBS curriculum or a medical education curriculum. Now this clinical internship, earlier the students were allowed to do in their home country. That means the universities which are offering these programs has given the students an option to study medicine in their program, in their university, and do the internship either in the university affiliated hospital or back home. And the provisions of Medical Council of India for foreign medical graduates was that if you get a passed certificate that you have completed the curriculum, academic part complete, then you can do internship in India provided you pass the FMG exam. And on passing the FMG exam, MCI used to give them a provisional registration, which is kind of a visa for them to get attachment to any hospital in India, any healthcare institution in India. Without a provisional license, without a license per se, nobody is allowed to dispense any healthcare. As a doctor, it's MCI. As a nurse, it's Nursing Council. So you need to have a license to practice healthcare in India. Now this provisional degree, what was offered by the college, was acceptable by National Board or MCI as the primary requisition or prerequisite to write the exam. Now this rules and regulations which now MCI is trying to impose is definitely going to put a lot of inconvenience, and I don't find any reason that how it is going to benefit the students or the country or the healthcare system. What is the ultimate objective of putting this stricture?
Dr. Ganguly, this is exactly the crux of the problem I'm trying to come to, because it is not really clear why MCI or the National Board of Examinations have reasoned that most of the foreign provisional pass certificates are not genuine. This is one of the main reasons they have propped up. The foreign universities Indian medical students go to are all MCI approved, I'm sure, and obviously when they are coming back, so they are being allowed to take the test, or now the new rule is in place. So why this change of face? I mean, where is the fakeness about the whole thing?
Where is the confusion?
Yeah, where is the fakeness? I mean, they're saying it's not
I'll explain to you. Look, fake or not correct things are there in the world still since the world started, and they will be always there. There are also in India so many fake degrees, so many quacks, everything is there. But question is that so far as the foreign medical graduates are there, it is very easy to detect them. It's very, very easy to detect them. First of all, they go to a college which is not technically approved by MCI, but it is recognized by the government of the country where it is situated, and that is acceptable to India. And how it is ratified that it is by endorsement of the ambassador of India to that country, who certifies that that is a recognized institution, and the degree conferred to the student is a bona fide primary qualification and is good enough to practice medicine in that country where it is conferred. Now my question again is, it's a hypothetical question, but then again, if you do not accept your own ambassador, then how are you going to accept it in the case of the final degree? So it is the question of pass certificate and final degree. Fakeness, how do you, justify that a pass certificate will be fake and a final degree will not be fake? So if it is possible to fake, even for final degrees can be faked. So I am really not convinced with the purpose that it will serve. I'm always very law-abiding in nature, but I cannot justify them. What is the justification of this particular imposition?
I mean, doesn't it mean that they are defeating the very system they have themselves set up, by saying all these things?
Look, I am not going to comment on that. I'm sure there are wise people who are, deciding for everyone, and it must be for good of everyone. And it must benefit the healthcare system, it must benefit the student fraternity, and more so the the common people. It should benefit the common people. I'm sure there is some underlying benefit for this, but I am not understanding what is the benefit. On the face, I am at a loss, and I feel it is an injustice done to the students. It is against natural law of justice. I mean, changing the condition, changing the rules half the way is not correct. I'll tell you an example. A student of mine has written, based on his pass certificate, December exam of FMG, and scored 149. He is supposed to pass in 150. He wants to write now, he cannot write as per this rule. And those who have passed, they are practicing as doctors. Now, isn't it a fallacy? If you want to change the rule, I think it should not be done on retrospective effect. It should be done for future batches. That means if you want to put this rule, you put it now for all students going in 2020 and ahead of 2020. In future, they can be subjected to rules and regulations. So they will join or not consciously, up to them, that yes, these are my requirements. In order to avail this program, I have to fulfill these requirements.
Dr. Ganguly, this comment actually brings us back to the prime question, which is there's a large sweep of medical students in India and abroad, and Indian students going abroad and coming back after studying. In 2019, there were more than 15,000 students who took the test. And I'm told that this year the number is going to almost double. Now, do you see a loss of a year in their career because of this? Or how soon do you think this?
No, I think there won't be any loss of year. I think this will be resolved. I think there's some mistake may have happened somewhere. Everybody does with some good objective, with some good intentions, but sometimes the underlying effect sometimes turn out to be sour. And you have seen how the humanity has advanced. I'm sure we will take corrective actions to rectify whatever anomalies have been created by this particular inclusion or particular stricture in the information bulletin.
Dr. Ganguly, you have been a pathfinder in creating or making doctors for India and for the world. So what would be your suggestion to the powers that be or people who are at the helm, that what should they do now? I mean, a lot of students have written to the Prime Minister, written to the Health Ministry, written to the MCI, and a lot of students have already petitioned the National Board of Examination. Now, I'm sure you would like to send a message to all of them, particularly to LFAS of the students, that as a facilitator of somebody who is making doctors for the world, which you have been doing for the past 20 years, without a hitch, what would be exactly your message now to these students and medical students?
My message is very simple, that instead of trying to create obstacles in the path of making doctors, everybody worth his salt should try to act as a facilitator without undermining the quality of the doctors we are churning out. We should try everything under our resources at our command to create more and more doctors. We should try to facilitate that. And in order to facilitate, I think we need to be a little more pragmatic, and we should always cross-check of what is happening in the rest of the world. Look, what I understand is a kidney is a kidney. Whether it's an American kidney or a Chinese kidney or an Indian kidney or a Russian kidney. It acts or reacts to use or abuse almost the same manner. Today, this COVID is working on everybody across the globe. So if a solution comes out in US, that will be applicable to us also. And if a solution comes in India, it will be applicable to Russia also. So something like that. So let us look at it a larger. We need doctors. Let us not beat around the bush. We need doctors. It's quite pathetic situation in the rural India. I stay in a semi-rural area, you can say. It's in a suburban area. And I feel, it's very difficult to get doctors. And also, the poor people, if they fall sick, they are literally, they have a very tough time. You know what is happening, Barid, on a very personal note, let me tell you. When you want to get your daughter married or your son a higher education, you plan for it. However poor you are, you can save for it. But this, illness do not come with any prior intimation. It suddenly happens, and one fine morning you find that you have a heart attack or somebody has a severe disease in your family, and you run from pillar to post for admission in a government hospital which is always overloaded, private hospitals beyond your reach, insurance not accepting this claim, that claim says no cashless, this. So it's a very miserable situation, and everybody who is little more privileged like us, we should try and do something instead of trying to create obstacles. This is what my message to each one of us who has a little bit wherewithal to facilitate this.
Dr. Ganguly, it was excellent listening to you. As you said that we have the wherewithal, but the point is the MBBS students might not have, and a lot of them have lost heart because of this development. So what would be a very precise message for these MBBS students?
For these MBBS students, Barid, what I will say is don't lose heart. You are absolutely on the right track. You have so far followed the rules and regulations of the government of the country where you have studied and government of India or your home country if you belong to Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka or so where. Right now, we are working in 26 countries. We have students from 26 countries. Now, follow the rules and regulations. I'm sure the people, the government, they all understand and they are all your well-wishers. Don't lose heart. Things will definitely turn for the better. Whatever, if there is any anomaly created due to some other aspirations, it will definitely be rectified. Don't lose heart, and we are there with the students all through. Today I'm so happy, there are more than 2,500 qualified doctors we have gifted to India, another 1,500 to other countries of South Asia. 4,000 doctors are practicing in South Asia, created from our system. And they have done their Saraswati Online. Yes, SaraswatiOnline.com has gifted to South Asia 4,000 students in last 10-12 years.
Which is a stupendous...
precisely 10 years. 2010 it was my first batch rolling out.
Dr. Ganguly, thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking to you, and I am sure I am wiser, the students are wiser, and people who take decisions are wiser because of your valid comments. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Barid.